Hey everyone, it's August 31st, 2024, and I'm here with Dr. Yaffa Bey. Dr. Yaffa, other than the Africans, did anyone else travel to the Americas before Columbus arrived in 1492?
Yes, the Vikings came before Columbus, but they didn't try to take over. They came, they saw, they went. And the uh, what do you call them? What do you call these people? I forget what they're called, but for lack of better words, I'm gonna call them the people from the steppes of Russia. They came across the Bering Straits, and we were already here when they got here too. We didn't get along with them all that well, but we felt like we told the pilgrims now. There's plenty of room to go around. There's more than enough space for us to all be here. Nobody has to come and try to take everything and take all the land, which is what's happening now, which is what's been happening since this last batch and the following batches have shown up. They just want to keep taking and taking and taking and telling us to die while they try to exterminate us and drive us to extinction and telling us to leave our ancestral homeland and go somewhere to Africa that we've never been and we weren't brought from. And even if we have an ancestor or two from there, that doesn't wipe out our blood tie to here. What about all the other hundreds of thousands of ancestors we have that are from here? You know what I'm saying? Are you kidding me? So yeah, yeah, there have been people that have come. But the last batch that came are the crazy criminals that got kicked out of their ancestral homelands. A lot of them are still running as refugees from their ancestral homeland because they were sleeping with the enemy during wars and considered traitors in their country and had to leave there and come here as refugees because they'd have been killed if they'd have stayed in their homelands. So now that they here, they have the audacity to tell our people where to go in our house. Yeah, yeah. Other people came here, but they weren't nuts. They're acting now. The ones that walked across the Bering Straits are acting like they're nuts now. If this is even still them, because like I said, you can come over here today and go to a federally recognized nation, and if they let you in tomorrow, you can walk around with your tribal card, federally recognized card, and say you're a Native American, federally recognized, even though you just got here yesterday. But the people that have been here forever and were here when all of y'all showed up, including the walkers across the Bering Straits, y'all have the audacity to tell us where to go and to go somewhere else. Y'all go somewhere else.
The Russians you're referring to, I believe, are known as the Siberians.
Afterward, thank you. Afterward, yeah, they can go home. Shit, it's still there. They may not be able to walk back across the Bering Straits, but they can catch a plane, boat, whatever. Instead of trying to make us leave. You found us here, you found us here, you found us here. And you found us here. Stop playing with my people and sneering at us about being woke and left because we're beginning to have our recall. We have the receipts and we have the proof. And the proof is out there. Some of the books are thousands of dollars for the books that'll tell you that because they don't teach it in school. And Holly Weird Freak Fest doesn't put it in the truth in the movies. I mean, I think they did one, the Avatar, where they made everybody blue, because if they'd have made everybody melanin and rich, it would have never seen the light of day. I'm just saying, because they don't want anybody to know the truth. But the truth is out there. It's not taught. It's not well known. It's not shown in movies and whatnot. But every now and then they do a slip. They let stuff slip in certain shows. Things are said, and you got to catch it. If you don't catch it, it'll go right over your head. It is known and exceptionally well documented whose homeland this is. Who are the heirs to America? Who America's Aborigine people are that were found here that are indigenous to this landmass? Y'all didn't bring us from no Africa. And again, all my evidence only shows they brought 20 people up in here from Africa. That's all I've ever seen. So,
So these Vikings came from Iceland and Greenland, right? Did they interact with our ancestors, possibly share cultures and maybe did some trading and they went back home. They didn't cause any problems, right?
They didn't try to take over. They didn't try to take over. They acted like guests, as far as I know.
So would you say the interaction was positive?
I don't want to say that. I'm not going to say there wasn't some crap. Maybe where they landed, was not heavily inhabited. You know what I'm saying? But they did not try to take over. For all I know, they could have came and never saw any of us. That's how vast our ancestral homeland is. That's why when the last wave came over after Columbus, our people kept telling there's plenty of room. There's more than enough land for everyone. There's more than enough land to go around. Y'all can be here. Just stop bothering us. And our people still keep telling them, stop bothering us. Damn. I don't know if they can exist without bothering us. It's almost like if they don't have our constant attention by putting themselves in our mind and in our mental with their distractions and their public executions and their mainstream lying miss media or their television or whatever it is they got going on. It's almost like if I can't get this person's attention and I can't make them see me, I will cease to exist. That's how it feels. Like like they require our attention, even if it's negative attention, just to exist. Like they'll disappear if we're not looking at them, noticing them, or talking to them. They remind me of a science fiction movie. Hey, please see me, notice me. I see you in your own world. You're sitting under a tree trying to read a book, but here I come. Hey, excuse me, are you lost? Me, I help you. Bitch, I'm sitting here reading a book. Do I look lost? Do I need help reading this book? Well, I've never seen you before, and you ain't supposed to. It doesn't matter if you've never seen me before. Well, I'm calling the police. They need our attention just to survive, it feels like. I could be wrong, but it feels like if we stop seeing them, stop noticing them, and stop talking about them, they'll disappear.
I'm wondering if after the Vikings made several voyages to the Americas, word spread throughout Europe. It seems like they spun a narrative to make it appear like Columbus Columbus accidentally stumbled upon the Bahamas in 1492, ignoring the fact that other Europeans were here before him.
Columbus was looking for us. It was no accident. He was looking for our people. He was. He had orders from the church to find us. And then they got here and they immediately started torturing and tormenting us. It was so bad that De Las Casas was complaining about it. And they didn't stop then and they haven't stopped now. Something wrong with them. They're just bad seed.
Yeah, when I researched Bartolome's de las Casas and I read his notes of what he witnessed when Columbus first came over, the brutal and cruel treatment of our ancestors, it literally brought me to tears. I don't even like talking about it.
They were torturing us. Yes. It wasn't, it was the cruelty that he was complaining about. It was extreme, unnecessary cruelty. It's barbaric and savage. The church are the masters of torture. I told you. The Roman Catholic Church, it's documented. They were the masters of torture, alcohol, and poison. On top of that, they were drinking and eating children too. I mean, still doing it, just saying. Because everywhere they came, they had somebody from the church over them. That's why everywhere you go now, there's a church around. And in every area there's a Roman Catholic church. Every area that's called a city is basically under a bishop of Rome. So, you know, um, all these courts are church courts. That's why every court has a clerk, which is another word for cleric. They all have a they all have a cleric or clerk for the church. Whenever you sign your signature to anything, it's basically tying you to the signatura, which is a tribunal of the church. People don't understand it. The church and state are the same thing. That's why in Louisiana they always had a parish, which means we're near. We're not really here, but we're near them. We're near these people. And the sheriff or sheriff collects all the rents, or oversees it. So it's still a church operation. There's no separation of church and state, and that's why they want everybody to please come back to the church. You need to call on Jesus. We need to have a Christian resurrection. Well, now you're just talking about torture, torment, and more flippery. People better go look into all the history of all of these countries, whatever your ancestral homeland is. Go back and see what the Christians did to your people. Go back and look and see what the Jesuit militia and the zealots of the church were doing. It wasn't pleasant and it wasn't pretty. Wherever they went, you are going to convert or die. And now, because they're losing their spiritual hold on people's minds, because people are waking up because of the Aquarius influx and whatever, people are, as they say, getting woke. We got to put them to sleep. We got to put them to sleep. We got to get them back we got to get them back into Jesus, Jesus, Zeus, Juice, the devil. We got to get them back into it. Please do a Christian revival. Well, the world's people didn't start off as Christian. They did not. And they weren't calling no Jesus. They didn't know nothing about no Jesus. They had never heard of him. And I'm telling you, the people in those areas hadn't heard of him either, because there was and is no such thing in the letter J as the letter J where this man is supposed to have walked. It does not exist in those languages, so there was no man walking there called that. You better call him on Christ, or the Kara essence, or the crystal, which is Christ. Just saying. I wouldn't call Jesus. I'm just saying. You do your spiritual thing. But people came here before and they weren't on that crap. They weren't on that, taking over and shoving some God down, demonic God down people's throats, where it's okay to rape, murder, kill, plunder, pillage, and the whole nine. Torment, torture. That's what that stuff is about, that y'all want to get a revival for. We don't need a revival of that. People better stay woke and get some sanity and try to do their spiritual, what is the word? Elevations. Yeah, people came here before Columbus. Hope that answered that. They just weren't as crazy as the people here now. Something wrong with them. Just saying.